Welcome to Retiring Well. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We're going to be starting off with 10 reasons to use a Roth IRA. You've probably heard a lot about Roth IRAs. This you'll want to be paying attention to. Second, we'll be getting into jobs that still offer a pension. Seems like a thing of the past, but there may be some options out there for you today. And then walking through 10 important ages for retirement planning, along with financial jargon explained. If you're confused on some of those terms, you'll want to be listening. So stay tuned for this and a whole lot more coming up right here, right now on Retiring Well.
Retiring Well, brought to you by Centennial Wealth Advisory, financial advisors specializing in retirement planning and serving all of Northern Michigan. Retiring Well, helping you plan for a successful and comfortable retirement. Retiring Well. Plan to retire well.
I'd like to share with you today here 10 reasons to potentially use a Roth IRA. So often financial advisors stress diversification, and so often you may think of, well, that's stocks or bonds, different mutual funds, whatever that might look like, but what about tax diversification? That can be so valuable when you're building a plan, and especially once you get into retirement and specifically looking at that long-term retirement plan. Having some tax diversification can really be valuable for you. So I'm going to, again, walk you through these 10 different reasons why you may want to consider utilizing a Roth IRA. So the first is consider prepaying your retirement tax bill. So if you have more traditional types of 401k IRA amounts, when you withdraw that money, you're going to pay taxes. But if you're making after-tax contributions into this Roth IRA, then there's tax-free growth and eventually tax-free withdrawals. So, you know, if you're balancing between, well, traditional versus Roth, that's something you may want to consider. The second is, what about tax-free withdrawals in retirement? So as you're looking ahead and trying to map out what that plan looks like, having access to some money that you're not going to be paying tax on can be so valuable. Like, take into consideration that what if you need a purchase a vehicle and you want to pay cash for that, and if all you have is access to traditional 401k or IRA money, all of that money is going to be taxable, whereas a Roth IRA, that would all be tax-free, so it's not going to show up on your tax return. Or maybe if that would help you avoid going into a higher tax bracket by having those tax-free funds. The third item is tax-free investment growth. So let's imagine for a minute that you set aside over the years $100,000 into some type of retirement plan. That grew to $300,000, and now here you are in retirement and you decide, wait, I want to buy a home with this $300,000. Well, guess what? If that's in a traditional 401k IRA type of an account, all of that $300,000 is going to be taxable to you. So that $300,000 that you see on the statement may not actually be $300,000 if you said, I want that money. Whereas within a Roth IRA, all of that's tax-free. So again, you could access all of those funds without tax implications. Number four, there's more flexibility in retirement. You don't have the required minimum distributions that you would have as you would with a traditional IRA. Number five, easier access to your money before retirement. So if you've held your Roth IRA for at least 5 years, then you can access the contributions that you put into the Roth IRA prior to age 59 and a half without incurring a penalty. So a lot of times there's a 10% early withdrawal penalty if you take money out of retirement accounts. But again, your contributions could be accessed. Number six, leaving tax-free money to your heirs. That might be something that's important to you. Number seven, maximize tax-sheltered assets. So traditional 401k or IRA, and again, in this example, let's say you have $600,000 that shows up on your statement. Again, that's not all your money. So there's going to be tax implications when you go to withdraw it. Number eight, later contribution deadline. So with a 401k, you're typically required to make those contributions during the calendar year while you're working and contributing. contributing. With the Roth IRA, you have until the tax filing deadline to make a prior year contribution. In 2023, that was, or for 2023, that's $6,500. If you're over age 50, that's $7,500. Number 9, there's a tax savers credit. So in 2023, if you're single and earning between $21,750 to $36,500, or if you're married earning between $43,500 and $73,000, there is a tax savers credit. And lastly, Roth IRA conversions. We could talk a whole lot longer in regards to this, but there's no age limitation on Roth conversions, and an area that I know here at Centennial Wealth Advisory we like to walk through with clients on an annual basis and see if it's a fit for them. So if you have questions about any of this and if a Roth IRA might be a good fit for you, please give us a call.
If you like watching Retiring Well, make sure to go to youtube.com/retiringwell and click the subscribe button to never miss any of our TV shows and other informative videos.
Remember when life was simpler? When things didn't move quite so fast, and the world didn't seem so complex? Remember that? We do. And as the world around us has continued to speed up, becoming more complicated, and still a bit uncertain, we have managed to keep things simple, providing sound, easy-to-understand financial advice and customized roadmaps for the road ahead, from tax reduction strategies, investment advice, and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, backed by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. We can be your single point of contact, a single call, a voice you recognize well, and a partner who can be by your side for the entire journey. We can't stop the world around us, but we can help ensure you're prepared for what's to come. To schedule a no-obligation meeting, simply contact us today.
When you have confidence in your retirement future, you can live the life you've always imagined. Because of planning, you now have time to reflect on the wonderful memories of your life. You and your spouse finally have the luxury of leisure time together. To spend fun times with your grandkids, sharing the joy of their excitement about life. Smiling at the thought of quality time with your children and of picking up the check. At last, you have time to breathe and rekindle the love of your life. Why? Because you imagined what could be. You planned for retirement. So today, you own your future.
Hey, welcome to this segment on 10 jobs that still offer traditional pension plans. Let's start by defining what a traditional pension plan might look like. Typically, there's equations that involve your years of service and your final average compensation, and they use those pieces of information to then determine what your lump sum pension payout might be or what your contractual lifetime payout might be. Now, in those plans, the investment risk is on the pension provider. That's good for you. The risk is if that pension provider cannot meet their obligations. On the other side of the equation, you have these defined contribution plans. This is where companies are shifting that investment risk to the employee, where they will say, We're going to give you a match in a particular plan, and then you contribute to it and pick out your investments. All right, so let's dive into those 10 jobs. The first one are teachers. Over 89% of teachers that are primary, secondary, or special ed teachers have access to these traditional defined benefit plans, whereas 59% of college and university employees have them. The next job that you might find to have traditional pension plans would be state and local government. Over 86% have these defined benefit plans. Now, some of the state and local governments are shifting to those defined contribution plans. Utility companies, 76% are providing these traditional pensions. Now, some of those companies are closing their pension plans to new hires. Next would be protective services. Here you want to think of your police officers, your firefighters, EMTs. About 53% of them have traditional pension plan options. The catch there is that they often have very physical, rigorous requirements. The next thing that you want to look into is maybe a large company. You know, if you have 500 or more employees, there is a 53% chance that they're going to offer a traditional pension. If you're looking at those companies between 100 and 500 employees, they're about 27% will offer pension plans. And then if you're less than 100 employees, only about 11% offer those pension plans. If you're a nurse, okay, about 35% of registered nurses have access to these pension plans. In the transportation industry, there's about 27% that have access. And these could be warehousing employees. You might find in more high-density union places, you're going to get a little bit better chance of having that traditional pension. Similar to construction, about 27% of construction workers have access to this. This might be short or long-term truck drivers, hotel services, groceries, might have access through their company, more so in the private sector. The military, you know, you have a couple wins there, serve the country, and then also have some defined benefit plan options. Typically, this is going to be an active duty, reserve, or National Guard, and they give you about 20 years of service to get those pension plans. The next thing that you have in a lot of those are cost of living adjustments and survivor benefits. So as life goes on, they try to keep up with inflation, increase those payments to you. The next one would just be unions. 79% of unions offer pension plans, opposed to only 17% of non-union members have access to those pension plans. An example might be the United Steelworkers, where they cover a wide range of services, anything from like steel, metal fabrication, all the way to pharmaceuticals and forestry. They're representing their workers to try to give them this defined benefit pension plan. Now, my wife and I were both teachers. I taught 17 years, high school math and personal finance, and she taught 16 years as a special education teacher. We have earned our pension, and so we know a lot about them, and there's so much strategy. So if you're sitting there and you have a pension, you don't know how you might want to strategize it, please feel free to give us a call. We're constantly here at Centennial Wealth Advisory looking at how to strategize it, look at what the lump sum payout versus those lifetime contractual payments. So feel free to give us a call.
Living life isn't always easy. It puts up challenges and obstacles you'll have to overcome. There are responsibilities. You put in effort to provide and take care of your family, and to save and invest, to balance work and life. Planning is the first step to succeeding. Plan to retire well.
At Centennial Wealth Advisory, we take a holistic approach to your retirement planning. So it's not just looking at what your investments are, but what is that long-term income plan for the next 30, 40 years of your retirement? What about taxes and what role they play in your retirement plan? Estate planning, what about life insurance, health insurance planning, all key areas to consider when looking at your retirement. So please visit our website or call the number on the screen. We'd love the opportunity to sit down with you for a no-cost, no-obligation visit.
You made it. Years of hard work, investing, planning, and now you're here. The long-awaited reward you spent a lifetime looking forward to. But what now? After years of growing a nest egg, now you may want to manage it. Use it to fund your dreams. Make it last as long as you need it. And leave some for those you love. So what do? Wall Street continues to be uncertain, and some conservative options have dropped through the floor. How do you maintain opportunities for growth and reduce risk of loss from market changes? That's where we come in. We are financial professionals. From investments and insurance products to tax reduction strategies and guaranteed retirement income you cannot outlive, provided by the claims-paying ability of insurance companies. You've worked a lifetime to get here. Let us help you enjoy it to the fullest. For a complimentary consultation, simply contact us today.
Let's talk about the 10 important ages kind of for retirement planning here. I'm going to do a little rapid fire here to get through all 10 of these here. The first age, 49. Highly consider maxing out your retirement savings contributions prior to age 49. That way, you can take full advantage or the best possible advantage of that compounding interest over time. Typically, those folks that start earlier and save those bigger amounts have the better chance of growing that savings. Age 50. This is what starts that catch-up provision to retirement plans and IRAs. You're allowed to increase your contributions at that point by specific amounts, depending upon the year, of what you can put into those plans. Age 55. If you're in a 401k, 403b retirement plan and you retire or quit that job, you may be eligible to take distributions from that without the 10% penalty. 59 and a half. That is the age you can take distributions from an IRA without the 10% penalty. Different from the 55 rule, so very important, you know the account you have, and if you are considering retiring prior to 59 and a half, to make certain you're not making any moves that would jeopardize that. 62, that's when you can start taking Social Security benefits considered early, but you allow to take that traditional benefit at that time. 65, eligible for Medicare. If you're retiring prior to that, you're hopefully either on some sort of workplace insurance or potentially the marketplace. 66, full retirement age for most baby boomers. For those born between the ages of 43 and 1954 fall into that group. 67, full retirement age for the younger generation. 70. You can defer those Social Security payments up to that point, allowing that benefit to continue to grow at that point. 72. Required minimum distributions. This changed from 70 and a half a few years ago. So this is the age that you are required by the IRS to start taking those distributions whether you want to or not. Dependent upon your age at 72 and beyond, there's a divisor that tells you what specific dollar amount at a minimum you are required to take out at that time. You can take more, but you have to make sure you're at least meeting that minimum so you don't pay a penalty. Hopefully you found these 10 ages helpful and interesting. There's more out there at different various times, and that's why it's vital to have a very specific and detailed plan specifically for you. If you'd like to talk to us about your retirement plan or lack thereof one, give us a call at the number on the screen. We'd love to sit down with you and have a no cost, no obligation visit here at Centennial Wealth Advisory.
Your grandchildren are precious to you. They are your life. This is your time to have that special relationship. Taking care of yourself is taking care of them. Centennial Wealth Advisory is offering a free, no-obligation retirement review to make sure you don't run out of money during your retirement. Centennial Wealth Advisory. Your best is yet to come.
What can Retirement Analyzer do for you? Retirement Analyzer is a software tool that can help you prepare today for your financial future. You've worked hard to save for your retirement, but as you near your retirement, you may have concerns. Have I positioned my retirement savings wisely? Have I saved enough for retirement, and will my savings last throughout my lifetime? What impact could inflation have on my future expenses? What if I suffer a long-term illness? Will I have enough money to cover my medical care expenses and still be able to meet my other financial obligations? Could changes in the income tax rates disrupt my retirement strategy? There's no need to be in the dark as you prepare for your retirement. Retirement Analyzer can help you find answers to all these questions and more. The first step is providing us with information on your financial assets, the type and current value of those assets, as well as your sources of income. Then, we work with you to identify your expected expenses in retirement. This will include a discussion of the lifestyle you envision in retirement, travel, a summer residence, whatever you dream your retirement will be. We'll input the information you provide us into the Retirement Analyzer, and in a very short time we'll have reports that show us the percentage of assets currently in high-risk vehicles as well as the percent in lower-risk products. Retirement Analyzer enables us to project your income from year to year in your retirement and see how long your retirement savings may last. As we change the conditions of the report, delaying your retirement date, including costs for long-term care, adjusting the expected tax rate, or adjusting your retirement strategies, we can see how changes in these variables may impact your income in retirement and the longevity of your retirement savings. Let the Retirement Analyzer help you test drive your retirement strategy today, because the time to discover the bumps in the road is not once your trip through retirement has begun. Contact our office today to schedule an appointment for your Retirement Analyzer review.
Investing is a broad topic, but it has very, very important implications on your life. So it's very important that you understand all the lingo or jargon involved in financial planning. So what I'd like to do today is kind of go over a few different confusing or uncommon terms in the financial world. Kind of brings me back to my early days in flight school here at NMC in Traverse City. They did an introductory flight to kind of make sure that you still wanted to be in flight school. They wanted to see if you really wanted to fly. And I remember sitting in that little Cessna plane next to the flight instructor, and he'd call the tower over the radio, and they said a whole bunch of stuff, numbers, abbreviations, all kinds of stuff that I had no idea what was going on. The one thing I did catch though was that you're cleared for takeoff, and that was all that really mattered at that point. But like flying, you need to know what's going on. You need to understand all these terms and lingo so you know where to go. So that control tower was telling us, hey, you got to take this runway or this taxiway to get to this runway, and the altimeter setting's this, the wind direction's that, and I had no idea. Well, financial planning and the financial world, there's lots of lingo that you need to understand as well. So some common terms or lingo that I see often are, okay, one question is, what is the difference between stocks and equities. And that's very simply, they're the same exact thing. So stocks, when you own a stock position, you own stock in a company. Well, that stock in that company is essentially equity in that company. So that term, stocks and equities, they're interchangeable, okay? The next one that I see very frequently confused is index funds versus mutual funds. So index funds are very simply investments that's tracking an indice. So a very common one is the S&P 500 index. So you invest in an index that's tracking that indice. Okay, now a mutual fund is more actively managed. Okay, the index fund is passively managed, the mutual fund is more actively managed. Now, when we have a mutual fund, obviously you can invest in various things according to your risk tolerance, but because it's actively managed, it's usually much more expensive for you. So there's going to be a higher fee with that mutual fund. Whereas the index fund, much more passive, you're just kind of riding the waves of whatever index you're tracking there. And the next one that's very important to understand is opportunity cost. Okay, so this is the cost that you're giving up by making one decision over another. So a prime example of this right now is with interest rates so high, a lot of people are thinking, okay, you know, I got this cash on the side, I should invest in these CDs. CDs are paying north of 4.5% right now. So it's a great investment. But what's another investment that you could put your money to work in and potentially get more return from that? Well, that would be your opportunity cost. Okay, so let's say that you put your money into an index fund that's tracking the S&P 500. Well, over the last 50 years, the S&P 500 has averaged just north of 10% annual rate of return. Now, would you get that guaranteed over this next year like you would a CD? Who knows, right? Definitely not guaranteed if you're talking about investing in the stock market. So that's your opportunity cost for picking that CD over another potential investment. And then finally, compound interest, okay? That's a big one, and it's so magical in the investing world. In fact, we got a slide here on the screen that I like to go over with you. And this is really what I like to show my younger clients as far as the starting early, the benefits of getting started investing right away. So in this scenario, we've got a client that's 25 years old. He's starting with $5,000 in his retirement portfolio, and he's investing $250 per month. If we invest over the next 35 years at that 7% average annual rate of return, you can see on this screen that he'd have north of $500,000 in his retirement plan when he retires at the age of 60. Now, what compound interest means is you're investing in some sort of investment, and those interest or the returns on that investment is reinvested and is growing as well. So when you have time on your side like this gentleman does, well, you got 35 years to grow those assets. He only put in $100,000, and yet his portfolio grew to over $500,000. So that's just the magic of compounding interest and something you want to be well aware of.